Nerds, the last show of 2022. Here we are. Who would have thought this year is almost over? Our second year without President Trump, but he's back in the spotlight like a bad fungus. Hello, nerds. So we're going to do a pretty fun show today. We're going to look at some of predictions that I made under the Nerdstradamus hashtag on Twitter. And then we're going to look at the top news stories of 2022. And then we're going to do a little bit of a fun stats on immigration. We know that's going to be I think going to be a hot issue next year in 23. And then we're going to look and do a little reaction to some of El Trumpo. So hopefully that's of interest to you if you're joining now. By the way, if you're in the live stream, let me know where you're joining from. I'm coming to you from the great state of California. Love this place. All my MAGA family, they're always like, oh, how are things in California? I think they have this, their news sources seem to lead them to believe that the whole state is like a non-stop Antifa riot. But I'm looking out my window, have not seen any Antifa in a while. Oh, Jonathan LeBron is in the house. Welcome, Jonathan, and thank you for joining late into the evening from Orlando, Florida. You know, actually, Orlando, Florida in general has some amazing selections of aquarium coral. I have a little nano reef tank. I'll show you guys. Right over there. And there's it's not really, you can't see the coral's very small, but it's in that tank, and it's at night, so they're kind of retracted. So welcome, Jonathan. Good to see you. Bobby Numbers loves that coffee mug. Yes. Yes, Hyde Park, SW7. And then on this side, you got a big double-decker bus. Big Ben. Parliament. Big Ben. Parliament. So, all right. Let's start with a review. And I have not looked at this before, but every now and then on Twitter, I make predictions, usually about politics. And when I remember, I put the hashtag Nerdstradamus. And so I think Spider-Man gave me that name when I was making predictions about the Yang campaign. Any rate, I thought we could look at my predictions and, where I'm wrong, let's own it. And where I'm right, let's celebrate being lucky. So let's start there and go to the Nerdstradamus hashtag. So the first Nerdstradamus prediction of 2022 was July, and it looks like Ponder thus says, do you think he will run in 2024? My thought was that he may have a better chance in 28 or later. Well, this is when I was talking about how I'm super impressed with Mayor Pete and how he handles his Fox News interviews. And I made a prediction that he will run in 2024. Well, I guess it remains to be seen. I'm going to say that I think Nerdstradamus was thinking this in July of 2022 because I was thinking surely Biden will not run again and it'll be an open lane. For better or for worse, I think Biden will be running again. So it's less likely that Mayor Pete's going to run. So I'm going to have to say Nostradamus does not look super smart, but he might be right, as I refer to myself in the third person. We'll see if Mayor Pete runs in 2024. Let me know in the comments or in the chat if you think Mayor Pete will run in 2024. Okay, then let's see, when was the next one? It looks like July 25th. I said, I'll blow this up for you. As much as I'm excited about a forward third party, it would not surprise me if Trump tries to break off from the Republican Party and start a MAGA party, especially if it feels like the GOP insiders are trying to push him out. Yeah, Nostradamus is wrong because clearly Trump is running again, unless, I guess, if Trump somehow lost the Republican nomination, let's say if DeSantis got it, would Trump try and run as a third party? That seems like a lot of work for him. So I'm going to have to say, so far, Nostradamus is not looking so smart. Then my predictions on the Minnesota 1 special election are plus 15. MN1 special election. Let's see. That was a special primary. Where the hell? I'm looking up the results now, nerds. Stand by. Okay, it looks like in August of 22, it was a Republican win. It was a Republican win, but only by a smidgen. Yeah, Brad Finstad only won by about 3 points. So it would appear that Nostradamus is sucking so far. I don't know why the hell you guys are still watching this stream, but, well, Nostradamus keeps it real. A lot of predictions are hard. August 18th, contrary to conventional wisdom, Democrats will gain a seat in the Senate. Oh, ho, ho! Dude. U.S. Senate 2022 election results. I think I got this one right, guys. I just need to I just want to fact check myself because I don't want to speak and just say Nostradamus got it right. But let's see. Oh, U.S. Senate 2022 results. Why does it keep showing me? I just want the total. There it is on Politico. 51-49 from 50-50. Bros. Look at that. Look at this, man. August 18. In August 18th, everybody was saying that the red wave was coming, that the inflation was going to screw the Democrats. And, dude, I'm going to have to retweet this. Okay, now this is a little bit selective retweeting because I'm not going to retweet when I got it wrong. Sometimes Nostradamus Delivers the goods. All right. There you go. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Steve is saying late. Yes, it is. Because you know what? I ain't going to work tomorrow. I'm officially on vacation right now. So no work for me tomorrow. But good evening to you, Steve Jones. Jonathan LeBron says, if Pete runs, it's a non-starter. Biden, yeah, I think that's true. If Biden's running, then he gets the nomination. But if Biden doesn't run, I think Pete definitely runs. Bobby Numbers is saying it's really hard to believe that old man Biden will run again. Yeah. He would. I got to refill my beverage here. So I'm going to stay on audio, but I'm going to go refill this kettle. You're right that Biden would probably lose to DeSantis. However, I think it speaks to the problem with party politics that as strong as Biden would be, as DeSantis would be in a general election over Biden, the way the Republican Party picks its nominees is by their activist base, not by most registered Republicans. It's the type of people that go to primaries. And those types love Mr. Donald J. Trump. So I think the Republican Party is going to nominate the weaker candidate by the name of D to the J to the T. And Biden will likely beat Trump where he probably would have lost to DeSantis. Jonathan LeBron is saying that Nostradamus, that's true because Sinema went independent. In that way, the Democrats didn't gain a seat. Fair play. I suppose, yeah, I mean, I could make the argument that Sinema will caucus with the Democrats. I mean, because, isn't Bernie Sanders an independent? He's not really a Democrat. But you're right, Sinema is a special breed. Yes, I will be making predictions, Bobby Numbers, for 2023. Let's see how my 2022 predictions have delivered so far. But I have to say this one was pretty good because a lot of people in August of this year were really concerned. Remember, that was when gas prices were through the roof and people were so pissed about the pullout from Afghanistan. Like, the Dems were looking pretty tough. Okay, what is this? I just replied #Nostradamus. In what year will Bitcoin be back up to the 50s? And I said the end of next year. So we won't really know until the end of next year. What is Bitcoin now? Bitcoin price. It's 16,000 now. Well, it has a long way to go. So here is the chart. And as you can see, yeah, I made this prediction in September. So in September, when it was around, it was almost 50, and I was like, yeah, bro, it ain't gonna. Oh, that's September 22. Sorry, it was 20,000, and I'm saying it's gonna be 50 at the end of next year. And frankly, I don't feel great about that prediction. I'm not sure that I'll be putting a lot of money in Bitcoin, but any rate, so that's that prediction. I'm not gonna score that one. I feel like, well, we don't know until 23, but I'm not feeling fantastic about it. And then Oh, in September, I said, hey, Trump is going to do something outrageous because he's really pissed about DeSantis's Martha's Vineyard stunt. I don't actually think he did much that outrageous afterwards. So, again, Nostradamus was incorrect. Oh, Trump Lake 2024 prediction. Yeah, we're going to have to wait. Nostradamus predicts things that are pretty far out. Yes, and I am predicting that Trump will be the Republican nominee. Good point. Hey, Soldier One. Good to see you, buddy. Soldier One's a big time supporter of the channel. Oh God, this was terrible prediction. So Trump Lake 2024, we'll have to see. Broncos winning majority of their remaining games. Yeah, that totally didn't happen. Tim Ryan to win in the Senate. No, wrong. Oh man, poor Tim. And I also predicted that he would run for president in 28. I guess we'll have to see. Okay, in October of 23, man, I'm predicting far out. I should look at my 2021 predictions because all of my 22 predictions are a little too far out. Anyway, we'll just go over them and then move on to the next segment. I predicted that in 23 of next year, in October of next year, Twitter will be a little better for users because there'll be some improvements to the product. But it'll be a little worse for a lot of users and advertisers because there's going to be more like toxic content out of control. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, November 9th. This will be the beginning of the end of Trump, of the Trump era, because of all the losses in the midterms. That I think is actually true, but we'll see. Oh, I predicted Herschel Walker would lose by 7+. Unfortunately, that was wrong. He did lose, but not by 7 points. Runoff results. Herschel Walker looks like, he only lost by about 2 percentage points. So, dude, Nostradamus is sucking. This is kind of embarrassing. I mean, I was right that Herschel Walker would lose, but I thought he would lose by a lot more. Let's see. Someone asked, Trump will be back in the White House, and I said, not in the White House, but he will win the Republican nomination. Yep, we've discussed that. By the way, does anybody here think that Trump is going to win if he gets the nomination? Seems kind of like Trump's appeal has waned. I mean, he still has his hardcore supporters, but I think he's lost most of the independents. Whatever independents were for him. That's it. That's it for the Nostradamus prediction. So let's go to the chat, and then we're going to look at the top stories of 2022. Soldier One says, Philip Tetlock says, nobody can make accurate predictions. Yeah, that 5+ years in the future. That is true, but it's fun to try. Steve Jones, Twitter will be bankrupt. It's interesting how a lot of the Trump supporters became huge Elon Musk. They love the Musk. Which is interesting. Oh, all the aquarium lights have turned off. Let me know in the chat if you want me to re-illuminate the aquariums, or if you like this dark aquarium look. The dark aquarium look is kind of creepy, almost like a septic tank. But I'll let you guys tell me if you want me to re-illuminate in the chat. So yeah, I was saying that yeah, the Trumpers, they love the Musker, and which is weird because a lot of Trumpers hated electric cars. And aren't big fans of physics and stuff. They don't strike me as science nerds. Maybe they are. I don't know. But yeah, they love that Musk. Oh, wait a minute. We have Jonathan LeBron demands illumination. All right. I will do it from La Phone. Let's see. Let's go see if we can access the Wi-Fi enabled electricity. Okay, here we go. Jonathan LeBron, I will re-illuminate one, and then if we get another demand for illumination in the chat, I'll do the other one. So we're gonna first illuminate the goldfish tank. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Illuminate. Oh, son of a gun. Illuminate. Device offline. Oh, did I? What just happened here? Ooh. That's no good. I may have shorted. Ha! Hold on, guys. I have to flip the breaker. I think when I boiled my my water, too much stuff was going on. Stand by. I got to go fix this. I'll be right back. This is a very unprofessional live stream, but this is real. We need electricity. Otherwise, the fish, yeah, their filters are off too. They're going to suffocate. Okie dokie. Where's the breaker? Wendy, where's the circuit breakers? Upstairs, okay. I lost electricity. You guys just talk amongst yourselves in the chat. I'm going upstairs now to the circuit break. That's never happened, which is really scary because yes, there are people. Come on, Wendy. So good. Yeah, I'm on a live stream. Ugh. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay, guys. I promised you re-illumination. I'm back. Give me a second. I'm not sure why. I guess the kettle. The thing is, I might need some more tea. Okay, so ready? Jonathan LeBron. You know, it's funny. I was trying to make this all dramatic. And then it was like smart light offline. I was like, what? Okay, so the Ranchus. Dude, my brain's not. Okay, the Ranchus are there. Illuminate. Woo! There you go, Jonathan. And if someone wants illumination for the community tank, so we've got the goldfish tank re-illuminated. If you want the community one, just tell me in the chat. And for those of you who joined since I was gone, I had to flip the circuit breaker because I guess there was just too much stuff going on at one time. Okay. Steve Jones says it's going to be interesting to watch Musk cheer on DeSantis. Those Trumpers. It'll be interesting for sure. I never realized Musk is the way he is. I mean, I've always admired what he did from a business creation point of view, but I didn't really realize he was so kind of Trumpy sometimes. At any rate, oh, Bobby Numbers. A lot of Trumpers loved Yang. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You're right. They did. In fact, a lot of Yang gang. After Yang left, I think we all realized, like, whoa, this Yang gang is a very diverse gang, and a lot of the gang don't agree with each other on many things. Soldier One says that the Orange Man condo, yeah, and he still did. You know, he sold NFTs, right? You guys saw this. Trump, he sold these NFTs for $99 each, and I think he raised something like $5 million in one day with these NFTs. And I don't know if you guys have seen them, but since we were talking about El Trumpo, let me see if I can find them. Trump NFTs website. There's a lot of news stories about it, but I want to find the official one where they were selling them. Yeah, collecttrumpcards.com. I mean, if you guys have not seen this, you would think I'm making this up. But he announced this, and they cost $99 each for each NFT. And by the way, like, if you like these images, you could just take a screenshot. Like, you don't need to own the NFT. I guess each, maybe they weren't really buying them for the NFTs. They were buying them. It looks like there were prizes, like they're almost like sweepstakes. But you know, somebody, and I would imagine Trump approved this artwork. I mean, it's got Trump as a cowboy, Trump as a pro-science astronaut, or maybe the Space Force is his thing. Trump with a bunch of bars of gold exploding. Trump where it looks like they helped his waistline a little bit. Very nicely done on playing golf. Trump with boxing gloves. Also, looks like he lost weight in these pictures. They say that the camera adds 20 pounds, but not for this guy. Trump as Ricky Bobby. Trump holding the football. Trump, oh, maybe this is a Space Force one with the aviators. Yeah, so if you ever thought that Donald Trump was, like, not crazy, I mean, dude, the guy will do anything. A lot of people say he's not doing rallies because it costs too much money, or he's worried that people won't show up. Steve Jones, you're right. You did that Jonathan, he might have saved the fish from dying because, yeah, now they have filtration and aeration. And absent that, they might have suffocated. Yes, real life. Checo Lego probably joined before I said the power went out. And John is like, yeah, he's trying to save the fish. Okay. Steve Jones says, turn on all the lights and more circuit breaker action. Okay. So Checo Lego is requesting, please illuminate the community tank. Okay. This is the beauty of Wi-Fi connected devices. You ready? 3, 2, hold on. Give you a full view.
3, 2, 1. Illuminate. Bam. Ooh, beautiful, huh? Look at those plants there. All live aquatic plants. That's not plastic, my friends. And when I got them, they were very small. And now they're freaking huge. Get your mind out of the gutter. All right. Soldier One says Elon is a weird guy, but an amazing engineer. Yes, so true. I mean, you got to give credit to the guy. When he started Tesla, a lot of people said he was crazy. When he started SpaceX, a lot of people say he was crazy. When he bought Twitter, a lot of people said, I'm saying he's crazy for buying Twitter. I don't know how he's going to double his money. You mean he paid $55 billion for Twitter? I don't think I think they made a few billion in revenue. So, yeah, I don't know. But he is an amazing engineer, and he's proven a lot of naysayers wrong before. So if he can turn Twitter into a $500 billion company, 10x his money, like freaking A, that guy will be immortal. Soldier One, these are awful. Yeah, people paid $99. I think they paid $99 partly. You know, he said it was for NFTs, but it was really a sweepstakes where you got the NFT as a gift. But yeah, those were real images. Like that's not some it's not some like parody site. This is an actual Trump approved site, and you know. You know, this is, what can I say? What can I say? This is the man who used to be president of the United States. I know. Only in America, right? Bobby Numbers said, if the fish had died, I don't know. I find it hard to eat my fish. I've raised them for many years. Although some of those goldfish are pretty chunky. Maybe if they are fried, breaded and fried with some garlic, a little bit of lemon. I don't know, but I don't think there's a lot of meat on them. Okay. Now, let's look. We've lost multiple people on the live stream. I'm sorry. It's late. Top stories. So because you 9 are the only people who are still with the stream, you got to do me a solid. You have to like and share because this stream is about to die. Oh, now we're at 10. Okay, that's nice. We're back into double digits. But regardless, please like and share so we can get some more people. Oh, no, back down to 9. Okay, let's look at get back to the news. Let's look at the top stories according to Morning Consult that broke through. This is based on real-time media consumption of over 800 news events among 200,000 Americans. So what resonated the most? Where's the list? The most salient news events. So the shooting in Texas, which one was this? Oh, yeah. This was the one in Uvalde with all the kids in the Robb Elementary School in Texas. Yeah, that was, I think a lot of people remember that story. I will say, like, these school shootings are no longer super rare, sadly. And I don't know if Congress or either party has done anything about it. I suppose Democrats are talking about restricting gun purchasing, and I don't know what the hell the Republicans are saying. Maybe they're talking about mental health. But then if you want to talk about mental health, then support, universal mental health care. But they're not for that. So what are the Republicans for? Roe Falls. Yeah, that was like Who would have thought? I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but I watched a lot of the Supreme Court confirmation hearings. And I remember Roberts and Barrett and, all those Republican nominees, when they were asked about abortion, they would always say, like, well, consider this settled law. And, I believe in the tradition of precedence. And then they just overturned that stuff. So the Queen dies. Yeah, that was a big story, definitely. Queen Elizabeth dying. I remember that being a huge deal for friends and colleagues that I have in the UK. I think in the US was not as big of a deal in terms of like, a week of mourning kind of thing, but certainly we all heard about it. Hurricane Ian hitting Florida. I didn't think that was that big of a story, but I guess it was. Wow, the war in Europe was not as big of a story as Hurricane Ian or the Queen dying. I mean, seriously, Russia invades another country. You would think that would have been like number one. Baby formula shortage. I think that was a big deal in May. I know a lot of the Republicans were talking about, what is going on. Biden is such a disaster. Soldier One is saying in Hong Kong there were tons of people with flowers when the Queen died. I could see that. My parents lived in Hong Kong for many, many years, and they have fond memories of the British influence there. I personally find it kind of, colonial. But I suppose they did some good there too, I have to admit. I will say, give you a funny story. I actually studied abroad in Hong Kong in '95, and they handed it back to China. The British handed it back to China in '97. And it was crazy how the British were introducing all of this democratic reform. But they literally did it as they were leaving. Like, they never had democracy when they were running it as a colony. But as they were like exiting, they were preaching about democracy and all this stuff. Bobby Number says, I think the most impactful story. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a huge deal. You've got Russia invading another country, and that little tiny country kind of bloodying the nose of Vladimir Putin. And a year later, like, Zelensky is still fighting. Like, respect. I mean, I realize he's getting a lot of aid and military aid, but so did the Afghanis. And they didn't really hold up that long. So props to the Ukrainians, man. They're tough. Baby Fucha, Mar-a-Lago raid, 58%. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty interesting story depending on who you ask. Like, if you ask someone who's not pro-Trump like myself, you're like, wow, what kind of crazy president runs off with confidential top secret documents and keeps them in his mansion after getting fired? And then if you ask the Republicans, they would say, like, oh my God, like, never before has a president's house been raided by the FBI. It's like, well, never before has a president absconded with top secret national security documents and put them, in his mansion basement where people were having like weddings and parties. It's just weird. Campaign season, yeah. The midterms. Oh, Brittany Griner's release. Heat wave. Highland Park shooting. So that's a Chicago shooting. Mar-a-Lago nuclear details. Bob Saget died. And then a Buffalo shooting. 10 people. Jeez. So shootings were big. Three shootings made it into the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, top 15-ish. They also talk about, Soldier One is saying that Gary Kasparov warned us about Putin. Yeah, he probably did. I seem to recall that. Kasparov's a smart dude. Okay, so now Morning Consult looked at salience of news has declined since Trump left office. So when Trump was in office, people were following the news big time. Around, looks like 39% of all voters in 2018. And now it's only 29% follow the news. In a weird way, I think that's to his credit. It's to the credit of not having Trump anymore, because I remember I used to open the news every day and ask myself, like, when Trump was in office, like, what the hell has he done or said today? Like, who has he fired today? Who is his new chief of staff? Who is his new White House communications director? And, but yeah, whether it's good or bad, less people are anxiously reading the news now than they were when Trump was in the White House. Partisan gap in news awareness. So what Democrats heard more about versus Republicans. So this is kind of interesting. Bobby Number says, yes, mainstream media thrive. Oh my God, CNN probably broke viewership records. Fox too, I think. I don't think Fox is as fun to watch for some people because it's just like, I think they like the whole Trump versus everybody narrative, and they don't have that anymore. And now I think Fox is pretty much done with Trump. I think maybe just Hannity is all he has now. So here's an interesting comparison that Kanye West's Hitler comments, 44% of Democrats heard about that, but only 18% of Republicans heard about it. Ginny Thomas's involvement in January 6th, 1 out of 3 Democrats, only 1 out of 8 Republicans knew about that. Cassidy Hutchinson testimony, almost half of Democrats, only 1 out of 4 Republicans know who Cassidy Hutchinson is. What else? Trump or guilty, 40% of Democrats, 19% of Republicans. The Trump dinner with the white nationalists, 37% of Democrats, 20% of Republicans. Trump being subpoenaed, only 2/3 of Republicans had no idea that he was subpoenaed. January 6th panel, only 1 in 4 Republicans knew about it. The confirmation of KBJ, the new Supreme Court justice, only 1 in 3 Republicans were aware or heard about it, the following news event. Crazy, huh? Now let's do the same, but flip it. What's a news story that Republicans heard about but Democrats did not? Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Looks like almost half of Republicans knew that Biden called a Fox reporter an expletive, but only 27% of Democrats heard about it. Gas prices rising, that one's similar, 55-42, but more Republicans heard about gas prices than Democrats. 26% of Republicans heard about CNN Plus failing, but only 13% of Democrats. GOP flips the House, 40% heard about that, and only 29% of Democrats heard about it. Hunter Biden probe, 22% of Republicans, only 11% of Democrats. February inflation 50-40. That's pretty close. May inflation 50-40. Stocks falling 40-30. January inflation almost 45-35. Actually, the Democrats seem, I mean, based on this, if you look at the gap, there are tons of stories where the Republicans are just completely unaware, like less than 20% have heard, and usually almost half of Democrats have heard about something, right? And then if you look at it on the other side, yes, there are stories where the Republicans know about something, but it's rarely 50-20 kind of thing. I think the biggest gap is probably 40-27. Yeah. And that was about Biden's hot mic, which I would argue is not as big of a deal as like Kanye West talking about Hitler and having dinner at the Mar-a-Lago. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Or Ginny Thomas kind of egging on the January 6th kind of insurrection. I mean, the freaking wife of a Supreme Court justice. People are all crazy about Hunter Biden, and he's no saint. I hear you, but Ginny Thomas, like wife of a Supreme Court justice, like actively advocating for challenging the Constitution, like, you know, crazy. Soldier predicted the fall of CNN Plus. Okay. So that was a little bit about the top news stories of 2022. Wow, those tanks look great. I really wish I could refill this. Oh, man. I think it was because my heater was on too, but now that the heater's off, you think let me know in the chat if I should try and boil some more water because I'm low on my tea. The risk is we get a blackout on a live stream in front of everybody. So put in the chat if you want me to try and boil that water. Just say so in the chat and we'll give it a try. Okay, but before we make that decision, we should thank channel members, and then we're going to go to facts and statistics about what Nostradamus predicts will be some of the biggest debate next year, which is immigration. So I'm going to come at you with a bunch of numbers about what's going on with immigration globally and in the U.S. But before we do that, I got to thank the channel members. I'm going to use my new Nerds for Humanity music to do so. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Who are these amazing channel members? I'm going to tell you. The first one is in the live stream right now, and he goes by the name of Soldier One. Thank you, Soldier One, the Senior Vice President. If you find these live streams useful and you want to support the cost of like hosting the podcasting fees and the streaming fees and the software to make the thumbnails and all the other costs associated with this channel, just become a member. It starts at $1.99 a month. But our highest level members are our VPs. Soldier One is a senior vice president. Our vice presidents are Kristen Slevin and Bike. Thank you, Kristen and Bike. And then the next level down are the hardcore nerds in order of time as members: Gene, David, DK, Jekalego, Kirsch, Mr. History, Mona, Vaughn, Yang, Roberts, Dean, Statner, Galessa, J. Perrin, AH, Dana, Jason, Parth, Daniel, and Mickey. And thank you to StreamYard for helping make this stream possible. And then at the verified level, only cost $1.99 a month to help us with this nerd content. Helps a lot. Keeps me going. It doesn't help me pay my bills, but it helps me know, like, okay, yeah, people value the content. I'll keep making it. Lisa, Albert, Brandon, Arez, Sophia, Doris, Emerald, Ben, Rasta, James, Emma, Ira, Elizabeth, Shoni, Dr. A, Jameson, William, Karen, Zemery, Mai, Brittany, Warren, Juana, Lucky, Kevin, Nell, Toby, Jeremy, David, Nicholas, Mike, Aurora, Zig, N. Carter, and Roberto. So thank you to all those members who keep this channel going, including the costs of commissioning this great custom Nerds for Humanity music you're hearing in the background. And then for those of you who joined halfway through, yes, a little bit like Enya. I was actually just listening to Enya with my son the other day, looking at the fish tanks. It's, oh, Stormwatcher is saying, let's boil the water. Want to see more says, make it hot. Okay, I'm going to do it with our music in the background. Okay, I'm now, so for those of you joining in the middle, I'm going to play the opening music, which is also paid for by our member dues. That, like, I was able to commission a composer. Hello, nerds. We're going to boil some water. We did this before, and it basically shorted the circuit breaker. And you guys now want me to do it again because you want some entertaining live stream, and I need some more ginseng tea to keep going. So I'm going to turn it on. There's the kettle. Ooh, and that's the gong. Here we go. You ready? It's on. You hear that beep? It's boiling. It's definitely on. I think it's because I have the heater. I have a space heater under the desk that is no longer on, but I think there was a point where they were both on concurrently. Woo! Living dangerously, nerds. Living dangerously. Okay. When the members say they want me to turn on that kettle, like, you know, I gotta follow the lead of my members. Okay, let's now look at some key stats about what I think is going to be one of the biggest issues. Immigration's always been an issue for the Republicans, but it's going to be an issue for all of us because the statistics are pretty daunting in that a lot of countries in South America are in turmoil, either because of the economy, political instability, political violence, civil war, extreme weather. And if you were in that situation, you'd probably want to go to a place that had more opportunity. And that would look a lot like the U.S. I think there's an open question about, like, how much immigration can a country handle per day? And how do you be a nation of immigrants, but also a nation of laws, as Obama used to say? So it's a tough one. Let's look at some of the statistics about immigration. Because I know there's a lot of talk about, well, the caravans and they're pouring in and, oh, the Republicans are inhumane and all this stuff. You know, so there's definitely arguments on all sides. But let's look at some stats from Pew Research. Because you're in the nerd zone and we're going to show you some stats. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we'll start with global immigration. Europe and Asia have the most international migrants. Interesting. 86.7 million migrants lived in Europe in 2020, followed by 85 million in Asia. More than in North America, where it's 59 million. Still, 59 million is not a small number. In 2020, international migrants made up a larger share of the population in Oceania than in any other region. And for those of you who don't know, Oceania is basically like Australia, New Zealand, and some other places. I don't know if that's that interesting. 15% of the population in North America, almost 16%, are international migrants. That's a significant number. And then almost more than 1 out of 10 in Europe. The US has more international migrants than any other nation. Number of international migrants per country. 50 million international migrants in the US right now. I think our total population is like 350. What is the US population now? Let me see. Let us look that up. What is US population? Yeah, 330. So out of 330 million, 50 million are international migrants. Germany is 15, Saudi is 13, and Russia is, wow, Russia has a lot of international migrants. I didn't think of Russia as a place for a lot of international migrants to go. UK, almost 10 million. International migrants accounted for at least half of the population in Middle East nations. I believe this, having visited the UAE. There's definitely a lot of people who work there who are not from the UAE, and they do basically all the labor. India was the top origin country of immigrants living abroad. Ah, interesting. After falling in 2020, nominal value of global remittances is back on the rise. So money's going back from where they migrate to their home countries. This is the top 6 recipients of remittances are India, Mexico, China, Philippines, France, and Egypt. France, who would have thought? Global population of displaced people reached nearly 90 million in 2020. Yeah, that's pretty nutty. Every year in 2019 and 2020, there were 26 million refugees, 4 million asylum seekers, and 55 billion displaced, including millions of Venezuelans. Yeah. Gender gap has widened among international migrants, so more males than females. Most European international migrants live in other European countries. So from Europe to Europe kind of deal. So that's some fun facts about global immigration. Let's now look. Oh, Soldier 1 is in the UAE right now. Yeah. Let me guess. You're in Dubai in that Palm Island thing. I was there. It's pretty cool. I agree. Although I felt a little bad about all of the construction and wondering about the working conditions for the people that built all that stuff in Dubai, but it's definitely super impressive. Okay, now let's look at some facts about U.S. immigration. America, okay? Now unfortunately, this is 2020, so it's a couple years old, but immigrant share of U.S. population nears a historic high. So it's almost 14% now. And it's gone up from 4.7% in 1970, but it was the highest actually in 1990. Wow. And 1970, and in 1850, it was still 10%. Wow. That's super interesting because a lot of people feel like, wow, and I myself have wondered, in terms of percent of the total population, is part of the Trump kind of anxiety because of a historically high percentage of immigrants as a percentage of the population. And yes, it has gone up tremendously, almost tripled since 1970, but it's not an all-time high. I mean, it's been this high in looks like the late 1800s, and you know, um, hold on. Whoops. Yeah, late 1800s, early 1900s, and then after 1965, uh, it started to go up after the Immigration and Nationality Act was passed. Okay, so let's find some more stats. Okay. Unauthorized immigrants are almost a quarter of the U.S. foreign born population. So you have unauthorized 23%, and then you have PRs and naturalized citizens for the balance. 1 out of 4 immigrants are undocumented or unauthorized. That's a pretty big number. And I would imagine most of them are working somewhere, which means that the employers are not following. You know, if you really want to be pissed about immigration, I know I've been screaming at my MAGA brother about this since the Trump days because he was all about the wall. And I was like, if you really want to slow down immigration, you should crack down on the employers that are hiring undocumented workers, because if people wouldn't come up here as much if they couldn't find work. But the problem is they are doing the jobs that a lot of native born Americans don't want to do. You know, like landscaping, meat packing. Those are jobs that are hard to fill. Now you could argue, well, then the employer should pay more. But again, like, is it the immigrants' fault that they were trying to seek a better life and escaping like a pretty crappy situation, and they were able to get jobs from companies that want to have low cost labor? Like, that's, I just feel like there is seems to be less outrage about the employers than the immigrants. And that just seems weird to me. Mexico, China, and India are among the top birthplaces for immigrants in the U.S. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, China's getting up there, but still a little bit more than a quarter of the immigrants from Mexico. Among new immigrant arrivals, Asians outnumber Hispanics for the first time, looks like. Wow. And then U.S. foreign-born population reached 45 million and projected to reach 78 million by 2065. And this is why, like, whatever your position is on immigration, the country needs a comprehensive, coherent strategy around border security, visas, paths to citizenship, requirements for working, requirements for citizenship, some meaningful way to manage the process. Neither party is offering that right now. They're all talking about it and politicizing it, but nobody's coming up with a comprehensive reform plan. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe John McCain was talking about it many years ago, but not a whole lot. Maybe Marco Rubio had talked about proposing something, but then he backed out. So, at any rate, Soldier One is saying the working conditions have improved. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's good to hear. Bobby Numbers is saying our southern border is leaking immigrants, but the Biden administration is ignoring it. I would say that the Biden administration is definitely not publicizing what it's doing. But I will say that Obama was stronger on the border, I think, than a lot of Republicans were. And he took a lot of heat for it. But I know a lot of Trumpers hate Obama, but they don't seem to acknowledge that. But regardless, I would say, Bobby, I tend to agree with you that I don't hear the Biden administration saying, "Hey, this is a serious problem, and we need to come up with serious solutions, and we need to make hard trade-offs." And I think they're more really leaning in on we need to be humane. This is a nation of immigrants. Immigrants add a lot to the country. All true. But it doesn't mean, but you still have to have some meaningful control over the border. And you have to have a rational system for how people become uh, allowed to work here or stay here or seek asylum here. And similarly on the Republican side, if all you do is talk about, oh, they're rapists and murderers and all immigrants are terrible, like you're not making the situation, you're not coming up with a solution either. So but I find both parties to be just using this to kind of stir up their base. Nobody wants to solve the problem. It's a hard problem to solve, but someday we'll have leaders that actually want to solve the problem. Um, More than half of U.S. refugees were born in Congo and Burma. Interesting. Ukraine was number 3 in 2019. Huh. Where are the immigrants? New York, Miami, and L.A. And a little bit of San Francisco, too. Houston and Dallas and Chicago, basically the big cities. That's probably where the jobs are. Educational attainment among U.S. immigrants. So U.S. born citizens, kind of evenly spread, 33% with bachelor's or more. Foreign born, same amount of college degrees. But there's a bigger percentage of less than high school. So it looks like foreign born, you have really kind of less educated, lower skilled labor. And then on the other extreme, you have a lot of highly educated people. When you look at birthplace, half are less than high school and 7% bachelor's or more from Mexico. East and Southeast Asia, almost half have at least some college. Central Asia, more than half have some college. South Asia, 70% have some college or more. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Total U.S. labor force grows, but number of unauthorized immigrant workers declines. So from 2007 to 2017, you had a bigger labor force, and the amount of unauthorized immigrant labor actually went down from 2007 to 2017. Interesting. I would not have thought that, given the way it's been talked about by our politicians. Half of immigrants in U.S. are English proficient. It used to be 57, then it went down, and now it's back up. Let's see. U.S. deportations. So they went up. It looks like they were the highest somewhere between, yeah, see these Obama years. I know the Republicans love to hate on Obama and the Democrats. But actually, Obama had more deportations than his Republican predecessors and more than Donald J. Trump, at least in 16, 17, and 18. I mean, those are just the numbers. Let's see what else. U.S. immigrants are seen as more strength than a burden. Ah, wow. 66% feel that immigrants strengthen the country and 24%. Now, that's 2019. I wonder what it looks like lately. I don't know. But yeah, some fun stats for you on Let's see. Bobby, the number says, regardless of your stance, 5 million crossing in 2 years. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if 5 million is a number, but I certainly hear like thousands a day kind of thing, and some cities being overwhelmed and they just can't handle it, and that's just it seems inhumane. Well, Bobby, I would say both the Democrats and the Repubs don't acknowledge this fact. The Republicans, like, if they say that, I think they're worried that they would like spontaneously combust or something. I remember I told some of my MAGA family members that, and they were like, "No way, Obama was for open borders." I was like, "No, that guy deported a lot of people." All right, I think we're gonna wrap up the stream, folks. Happy 2022. Happy New Year to 2023. Hope you had a great 2022. Get some rest, enjoy time with family, stay healthy. We've got a combo of flu, RCV, and COVID running around. If you haven't gotten your flu shot, it's not too late. And if you haven't gotten your COVID booster, I got one. Feel fine. I didn't spontaneously combust, or my DNA didn't turn me into a lizard or anything, as far as I can tell. But stay safe out there. Have a great holiday, New Year, whatever holidays you observe. If you observe Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. If you celebrate the New Year, Happy New Year. And hope you all enjoy it. Hopefully everybody gets a little bit of time off. And thanks for spending some quality time with me and the fish. And it was definitely an interesting stream. With that, we're going to... I probably should play my closing music. Yeah. Thanks, nerds. Thanks for coming on to the stream. Before you go, do me a solid. Can you help me out for 2022 and give me a like? Share the stream out. And if you haven't subscribed, you got to. And if you're already subscribing on YouTube, go follow me on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, go subscribe on YouTube. And if you didn't know, all of my live streams are available as an audio podcast wherever you listen to podcasts under Nerds for Humanity. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, nerds.